Hi, everybody. Welcome to the program. As most of you already know, I personally am the product of an extremely unusual ethnic combination. My loving dad, Geraldo Rivera, Puerto Rican and Christian. My sweet mom, Lily Friedman, New Jersey and Jewish. As I wrote last year in my slightly controversial book, Exposing Myself, back in the 1940s and 50s, my siblings and I were considered kind of half-breeds. I want to read you a paragraph about how I learned of society's intolerance toward race mixing and interracial romance. Quote now. One first taste of racial prejudice came at the hands of a high school girlfriend, a lovely Italian brunette who looked like Annette Funicello. Ida and I were going hot and heavy for a couple of weeks until suddenly she stopped answering my calls. I later heard her parents were afraid our relationship would produce black children, end quote. Now, this rejection, based solely on race and fear, was like a slap in my face. I was a sensitive kid. I was a teenager. But it's nothing compared to what our studio guests today have encountered in their lives. Race is America's dirty little secret, folks. Don't like to talk about it, but the racial tension, I believe, the rest of this summer, so thick you can cut it, thicker than fog. Shaun says that even though her mother and father are an interracial couple, she hated to see interracial couples around. Why, Shaun?
It wasn't the fact that I hated to see interracial couples. It's that mostly when you see a black-white couple and the white person is a girl, she loses her identity and she tries to, quote, stereotype a black person and act like a black person. And I hate that, because it makes black people look bad. I mean, there was an example where I told one girl, I said, well, you act blacker than I am, just by the way she talked, the way she carried herself, and the way she walked.
You've always identified yourself as a black woman?
Yes.
Why?
Because my father's black, and that's what my birth certificate has.
Do you feel that your brother, who has the same parents you do, tried to pass for white?
Yes, he does. He did.
Chris, are you, or have you been in the past, more comfortable identifying yourself as a white man?
As I was growing up and the older I got, yes, I did.
How do you figure the difference between you and your sister? Did you have fights about that?
We still do have fights about that.
Like, what would you say to her?
Before it mattered to me. Now she'd fight with me over the way I dress. She said I dress like a white boy. And all I could say to her is I dress like I want to dress, and that's the way I feel, you know.
Shaun, what kind of names did the kids call you?
I was called Zebra, Oreo Cookie, Salt and Pepper, Half-Breed. I was said that I was chocolate on the inside and white on the outside. And
did you ever, sitting between them, at least you wonder, is Phyllis. She's dwarfed by her children, but Phyllis says that she raised her kids to be special, but realizes that one is more black than the other. Is that right, Phyllis?
Very much so.
So have you counseled Chris, said, Chris, listen, you've got to face facts that you're, a half-breed?
I never like to use the word half-breed.
What do you call them?
They're black. They're not half-breed. They are black as far as I'm concerned. And I tried to raise them both exactly the same way.
I saw a look on Chris when you said that he was black. He gave me a... He gave us a take two on that.
He is black.
Are you black, Chris?
Yes, I'm black, but I don't, as far as I'm concerned, I don't see it. I don't see black and white, as boom. I mean, biracial family, I mean, you're biracial, I'm biracial. Black and white children, I mean, come on. A lot of kids have a problem with that. I had a problem with it, and I tried to fit in with the blacks. Couldn't fit in with the blacks, so I wasn't accepted. And I tried to fit in with the whites, and I'm still not accepted. That's why I just...
Is that the problem? You're caught between two worlds, accepted by neither?
I really don't know. Sometimes, like my sister says, it's me. It's the way I am.
We have some designated babysitters coming on now. Kayla, you want to go? There's some toys and tricks in the back, honey.
Got some toys over
Oh,
here,
that's
too.
it. Little bribery.
Go ahead, Mike.
Little bribery. That's it. There you go. That's
Take
it.
Paul.
That's it. Take them to the playpen in the green room. That's it. That's great. You ever call your sister a name, Chris?
Yeah, I've called my sister plenty of names, and she's called me names too.
I know that you're well-adjusted, both of you. Give us an example of what you called her.
Be honest.
Well, when I was younger, I'd call her nigger, or and same thing that the kids would call me, I'd call her, or she'd say the same thing to me. Call me an Oreo cookie. You've called me Oreo cookie before.
So, Chris, do you date only white women?
Well, now I'm not dating. Now I'm married, and she's half Puerto Rican, half white also. And I have a son that I've adopted that's Puerto Rican too. And
when people ask you what your background is, do you say Puerto Rican or
No.
Hawaiian or Indian?
no,
or?
back when I was going through school, on the little survey cards, I'd put other and be a little smart act and put zebra. I mean, and I would get in trouble for it. And as I was growing up, I mean, I've found I know I am black, and I admit to that,
It seems almost like bitter medicine to you, though, I have to admit. You say it, and you say it almost like you're talking about having a disease or some dysfunction.
It really doesn't bother me. I mean, it doesn't bother me as much as it used
Shaun's
to.
rolling her eyes. It bothers him.
It bothers him,
Bothers him plenty.
yes.
And I think it bothers me more than it bothers both of them, because I tried to raise both of them the same way, and the only examples that they had were their black grandparents and their father. My family disowned me, so they didn't have any white family to really to take from.
What did your parents say when you married your husband?
I was basically disowned. I come from a white Jewish family. In the Jewish religion, they sit shiva to actually declare you dead through temple, and that's what they did for me. And I am an only child, and these are their only grandchildren. And Mikey, who just went off the stage, is going to be their only great grandchild. Well, one of the first anyway.
Both your parents are still living.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Your own
because
parents?
My own parents. I lost track of them. When I had Christopher, I had him in St. Albans Naval Hospital, and I did call the day after he was born and spoke with my mother. And she was not the nicest person in the world, and told me, I just don't like the word because I don't like using it, that she was not about to come visit a nigger grandchild of hers. And as long as I was married to my husband, that I was no longer in her life. So that was that. My husband did contact my parents when my daughter was born 18 months later. Apparently, my dad said that was nice of him to do it, and that was it, and they didn't want any contact with me. I sent them pictures until both children were, I think, about 10 and 11 years old, and it never came back, but I learned via the grapevine they never got opened either. Chris took it upon himself when he was about
It was back
14?
it was back in 87.
In 87, to track down my parents through people in Connecticut and this type of thing, and spoke to my dad on the telephone, and I was on the extension, and my father said that he didn't have any grandchildren because he didn't have a daughter. So I don't know if they're alive or they're dead or anything.
How strong those emotions must be if you can forsake the opportunity to see your only grandchildren, your only great-grandchild. It must be a terrible, terrible thing. Mix and match, interracial love, sex, and marriage, the focus of this edition of Parental.